Hi, I'm Kristina Bergsten with the Animal Law Firm, where we are fighting for the underdog in Colorado, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. I am here to talk to you today about some questions that I typically get, and I wanted to answer this one because it comes up a lot, and there's a lot of confusion around dog bites and what they are. So there's two different kinds of law. Well, there's lots of different kinds of law, but there's two main categories of law. One is criminal and one is civil. Criminal is where you have a police officer, animal control officer, sheriff, some type of law enforcement entity give you what's called a summons. In some states, it's a citation, and you have to appear in criminal court. Depending on where you live, it might be municipal or city, or it could be county. In Pennsylvania here, we have magisterial district courts rather than municipal courts. Colorado and New Jersey both have municipal courts. If we were to talk about the difference in the court systems between states, we'd be here all day, so I won't go much further than that. Usually dog bites are considered low-level misdemeanors or petty offenses. But they're crimes, right? And they carry with them criminal punishments. And a lot of these dog bite cases result in probation for the human and then severely restrictive penalties and requirements on your dog. Almost all states have a six-sided enclosure, which basically means building a cage in your backyard, even if it's fenced in. And six-sided means it has a roof and a floor so your dog can't dig through. It's ridiculous, but this is the requirement in at least the 3 states that I practice in, and I'm sure all 50. So you have to have a 6-foot enclosure, you have to have a 6-foot tall fence, your dog always has to be on a leash, you can never go to dog parks. Some states, depending on the facts of the case, require your dog to be muzzled all the time. You have to get a microchip. In New Jersey, the microchip has to somehow label the dog as dangerous. I don't know how they think people do that, but because microchips are not GPS tracking devices. A lot of people think this, it's not. It's just like a electronic, it's like a digital business card, kind of, basically. Like your vet can scan it, or shelters can scan the chip that's implanted in the back of your dog's like scruff of their neck, and then it gives off like an address and phone number and your name, like what the information you put. Anyway, so it's like a digital business card for your dog. And that's all microchips are. So yeah, you have to label the microchip that the dog is dangerous. If you move, you have to tell the old law enforcement and the new law enforcement. It's stupid. And these restrictions follow your dog for the rest of your dog's life. And then if anything else happens in the future, even something as simple as dog off leash, like they can take your dog away from you because it's a dangerous dog that you lost control of again. And so it becomes, and then your dog is like sitting on doggy death row, and it's very sad. Because the conditions are deplorable. It's basically solitary confinement for a dog for like months and months and months. It's terrible. I don't understand how this is possible in this country, but this is what it is. And then there's civil, right? Okay, so we just kind of did a brief run through of criminal, and then there's civil. And civil is when you get a nasty letter from a lawyer on attorney letterhead, and they say, you injured my client with your crazy dog, and now my client is suffering tremendously, blah, 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 blah. And we want money, so give this to your insurance company or else. And so then, I get calls from people and they get both and they don't really understand the difference. So a lot of people will ask me, oh, can I just pay their vet bills or pay their medical bills and this will go away? Or a lot of times people will pay it in advance of getting a summons or a letter from an attorney, and they still get it. And they're like, why am I getting this? I already paid it. Well, because the law sucks, basically. And humans are terrible. So that's the short version of why. The long version of why is because when you're charged with a crime, it's not that individual who's bringing the charges against you. It's technically the city or the state or the county or whatever it is in your area. So it's the government, right? Basically bringing charges against you. So it's the government versus you. Civil cases is an individual person versus you. So it's like Bob, the mailman Bob Smith who got bit versus you. And so that's kind of the difference. And so paying stuff in advance may or may not prevent charges, may or may not prevent a civil suit. It's more likely to prevent a civil suit than it is a criminal charge being levied against you. But you know, it's not a guarantee. So yeah, so that's briefly the difference between the two. One thing that comes up a lot too, sorry, I always had to look at my question here because I forgot what it was because I went down a rabbit hole. So the question then becomes like, okay, you've got a civil suit, you've got a criminal suit, well, not a suit, but criminal charges. What can I do to reduce the criminal charges? Criminal charges, when it comes to animal law and dog bites in particular, are really hard to negotiate a lesser plea or a reduced charge, because dog bites, or in some jurisdictions, it's called dangerous dog, vicious dog, aggressive dog, or animal. It's usually animal, aggressive animal, animal attack or bite. So there's a lot of different versions of what they call it, but in the end, it's all procedurally the same from my perspective. These are strict liability crimes. So I get a lot of people who call me and say, I just got a charge for my dog being dangerous. My dog isn't dangerous. And it's like a freaking 12-year-old golden retriever, you know? And it's like, yeah, of course. And in the 10 years that I've been doing this, I have never encountered a dog that is actually dangerous or actually aggressive. It's just a good dog in a bad situation. But the way that the law is written is dog bites, dog is dangerous. Like, end of period, end of discussion, end of story. Like, your dog. And then if you go in and you talk to the prosecutor by yourself, they will treat you like you murdered babies. I mean, they're not going to be nice to you at all. They're going to treat you like you're a terrible person, you're a terrible dog owner, that your dog is vicious and dangerous and is just out eating unborn children and whatever. You know, like, your dog is the spawn of Satan. So it's because it's such an easy case for them to prosecute, because they can get their money out of you, and then they keep you on probation. You've got to pay probation fees, and you got to pay court costs and fines and restitution, and then they get to sit there and be like, oh, I serve the public. I love these prosecutors. They're like, I represent the people. I'm like, the people don't even know who you are, but whatever. It's like, I'm the people. We're all the people. Like, whatever. That's a different soapbox for a different day. So it's a strict liability crime, so it's very difficult to negotiate. I would strongly recommend that if you can't hire an attorney, that you at least apply for the public defender. It's better to have some representation than none. Going in there by yourself, especially if you've never been in the court system before, it's extremely daunting and intimidating, and plus your dog's life is on the line, right? So if there's no attorney in your area who will handle this kind of a case, at least apply for the public defender if you qualify. It's always better to ask than not. Otherwise, if you're in Colorado, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, we're happy to represent you. We can represent people in other states, but you have to find local counsel first who is willing to work with us, because we have to like partner with local counsel essentially. There's all these stupid rules for attorneys, and our licenses are all state-based. So they just make it harder for people to get help that they need, in my opinion. Sorry, I'm a little cynical today. It's raining, so I guess that's just the mood I'm in. Anyways, so yeah, if you find yourself accused of your dog biting someone, hurting another animal, give us a call. We can help you. We can at least provide you some guidance. Maybe we can even connect you with local counsel, depending on where you live, because we do have relationships in other states. You know, we're always happy to help. Check out our website. Excuse me. We have a lot of blogs on this topic. We have a podcast where we talk to animal control officers. So check out the various resources that we have. If you live in Denver or in Colorado, we also have templates for sale if your dog gets what's called impounded. Yes, like a car. We have templates for motions for you to file to try to get your dog out. Because if you're in Colorado or Denver, you only have 10 days to appeal to the court to try to get your dog out of dog jail. Sometimes they'll call it seized, your dog was seized. But anyway, so check out our website. We have lots of resources, even for people who aren't in our state, good general guidance. Otherwise, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a question on the various websites, Justia, Avo, or two of the ones that I've been getting my questions from. And yeah, we're always happy to help and happy to talk to people wherever you are. So thanks very much for tuning in. I hope to see you next time. Take care, underdogs.